welcome back to another episode of Jake's Sports World. I'm sorry I'm uploading this a little late. I had to go to school today. I had to do some things, but I'm able to get the episode out today. Thank you guys for coming to the video. We're going to hop into some breaking news, and I'm so glad for you guys to be here. Please hit the subscribe button, and just please recommend this to your friends if they love football. Hopefully they would like my channel as well. Thank you guys for coming back to another video, and let's get straight into some NFL news. Kick things off today. I made a little short video earlier talking about this, but let's talk about this thoroughly. The Atlanta Falcons agreed to trade quarterback Matt Ryan to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2022 third-round draft pick. I think this is a great move, and I think that is a perfect price for Matt Ryan as well. Let's get into some more about it. After all the talks and rumors about Baker Mayfield going to the Indianapolis Colts, the Colts quarterback situation after trading quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders has now been dealt with, as future Hall of Fame quarterback Matt Ryan has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, per Grant Cohen, this is something I did not know until I figured out right after the Matt Ryan trade. But let's talk about this. The Colts, per Grant Cohen, offered the 49ers 2 second-round draft picks in exchange for quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. After the 49ers didn't respond to the Indianapolis Colts, they went elsewhere and got a quarterback for almost half the price. And yes, age is up there with Matt Ryan, but he's also a future Hall of Fame quarterback and could easily take this Indy team to the NFL postseason next football season. So tell me what you think about this. Do you think it was a good trade for Indianapolis? I do believe it was a good trade for Indy. I think the Colts were looking for a quarterback. I think possibly they were trying to go with more of a veteran option. So going for someone like Baker Mayfield probably would have costed them a little more than they wanted. But they could have also offered the Colts a certain amount and they declined it that we just don't know about, which could lead to the fact that the quarterback, Matt Ryan, is now a Colt. So I do believe this is a good trade for both sides. I think third-round draft pick is about Matt Ryan's talent, and it could show up this next year in Indianapolis with weapons like MPJ, Michael Pittman Jr. to throw to, and now, hopefully, and I'm really hoping for this, if they sign someone like Odell Beckham Jr. or Will Fuller, that would be a great addition to this already amazing, ready-to-win football team. Let's get into some other breaking news. Right after, not even 30 minutes after the Matt Ryan trade to Indianapolis, let's talk about this. After the Atlanta Falcons traded quarterback Matt Ryan to the Indianapolis Colts, they took no time to think about their quarterback situation as they went out and agreed to terms with former Raiders backup quarterback Marcus Mariota. The Falcons didn't even think about offering the 49ers for Jimmy Garoppolo or the Browns for Baker Mayfield, as they went out and grabbed a quarterback that could very easily take this rebuilding roster and make it into a future Super Bowl contending team. This I did not see coming. I thought the Falcons would go out and trade for someone like Baker Mayfield. Or, if worse came to worse, go for Garoppolo. Wait a little bit, wait till training camp, see how he does, and go for Garoppolo. But I do think this is a great move by Atlanta. They're going to love Marcus Mariota, and I believe that he's going to do really good in Atlanta. As much as this team needs wide receivers, and as much as this still is a rebuilding team in the Atlanta Falcons, they have done everything they possibly can to bring a quarterback to its highest potential. They had a future Hall of Fame quarterback that they had for basically his entire career. And now I do believe that Marcus Mariota is going to go in there and he's going to chase and change the face of this franchise and could possibly within the next couple years take him to a Super Bowl. And Mariota is on a 2-year deal as well. Sources from Ian Rappaport say that Mariota was waiting for the Raiders to put the pen on the paper for him to re-sign with the Las Vegas Raiders, but also informed him, the front office of the Raiders informed him, Marcus Mariota, he would be their last concern for their ready-to-win roster with starting quarterback Derek Carr. That makes a lot of sense. I could see why the Raiders did not want to put the pen on the paper for Marcus Mariota. I think that the Falcons did a great thing in going out and agreeing to terms with him. And I think that's probably why, some of the reason why they traded away Matt Ryan is they knew that he was getting up there in age and that he just wasn't fitting the scheme anymore for Atlanta. And possibly Marcus Mariota could go in there and actually change things around. And I think that's part of the reason why they traded him to the Colts, is because the Colts didn't want to wait on Baker Mayfield. They could have gotten denied by Cleveland on an offer. We just don't know about that. I do also believe that they could have made that offer, got declined, and did not want to wait any longer or offer any more for Baker Mayfield, and went for a older but still surprisingly good quarterback that didn't cost him that much. And I think this was a really good trade. And I do believe that Mariota will do great in Atlanta. But yeah, the Raiders did the right decision, I believe, and letting Mariota go, and possibly Mariota being the starter in Atlanta, hopefully. I think this is a great thing for both Raiders and Falcons and Colts. Let's talk about some more NFL news. As I already covered this in another short, I covered all of these in basically a short, besides the last thing we're going to talk about. The New Orleans Saints agreed to re-sign quarterback Jameis Winston to a 2-year, $28 million deal. Believed to be the starter now in New Orleans, Jameis Winston will not be joining a different NFL franchise this offseason. As the Saints figure out their quarterback situation with Jameis Winston, just as the Colts figure out their situation with Matt Ryan, and the Falcons with Marcus Mariota. This was something that I saw happening possibly, but with Sean Payton out the door, I thought definitely that Jameis Winston would not be back. If Sean Payton was still there, I thought it was almost a guarantee that they would have had Jameis Winston back and Taysom Hill, and they would be fighting it out for the quarterback position as starter. And I believe that this could have been something that the Saints have had in their back pocket. They could have offered the 49ers for Garoppolo. They could have offered the Cleveland Browns for Baker Mayfield. And we already know that they got approved for their deal with New Orleans and with the Houston Texans for quarterback Deshaun Watson. But that did not happen, as Deshaun Watson ultimately decided to go to the Cleveland Browns. New Orleans Saints were up there and probably the favorites for the last couple days when the Houston Texans agreed to what their trade was, and then it was up to Deshaun Watson. He decided to go to Cleveland to play with Amari and Nick Chubb. So, the Saints have figured out their quarterback situation more than likely. And I think that this is still a possibility where Jameis Winston goes there, gets hurt, and they need another quarterback. And so we could see a Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield trade later on next season. During the mid-season, right before the trade marker, we could see this happening if someone like Jameis Winston got hurt and they need a quarterback because they're doing good. And I do believe the Saints are ready now to win and Super Bowl contending football roster that just needed a little more push last offseason to get past the barrier to get into the NFL postseason, getting kicked out by the 49ers, my team. But yeah, I think this is a really good thing for New Orleans. I think Jameis Winston is a good quarterback. I've always had his back since his Tampa Bay Buccaneers days, and I'm so happy that he's re-signed with the New Orleans Saints and that he's going to still be the face of that franchise at quarterback for the next 2 years. Let's get into some other rumors and possibly situations. What will Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield now do? What will happen to them as now more quarterbacks and teams are filling up that quarterback position with Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo still on the trade block? There are still quarterback-needy teams that will be in search for a quarterback to be under center for their football team next season, including the Seattle Seahawks, who are currently rolling with Drew Lock. If they don't go out and get a quarterback, they're rolling with Drew Lock at quarterback or Geno Smith. more than likely Drew Lock if they have to. Carolina Panthers, who would be rolling with Cam Newton and Sam Darnold. And the Houston Texans, who would be rolling with Davis Mills. So, this is something I hit on a little bit earlier, and I had the Saints and the Colts in the talk for Jimmy Garoppolo, but now that they have figured out their quarterback situations, and the Falcons quickly thought and got their quarterback of the future, Marcus Mariota, that really limits the teams that these two quarterbacks can go, which could be a situation for both of these teams and both of these franchises. Let's get into a little more. As a 49ers situation with Garoppolo will more than likely be a mystery until the start of training camp, the team is still on the idea of bringing him back for just one more football season, as Garoppolo is coming up on his last season on his contract. If the 49ers don't want to welcome back Garoppolo, as bad as that sounds, if they don't want to bring him back, if they don't want him on the football team, they want him to be released or traded before the 2022 to 2023 NFL season and cannot seek a trade partner, the 49ers are likely and could release Garoppolo, saving them $25 million plus in cap space to bring in someone like Stephon Gilmore or Tyrann Mathieu to help out the secondary, or possibly a linebacker like Bobby Wagner or Zadarius Smith to help the linebacking core strengthen, or trade for someone like Danielle Hunter from the Minnesota Vikings to help rush the passer on the opposite sides of Nick Bosa. So, as a 49er fan, I am staying up to date with the most various things. The 49ers have kind of addressed the DB and the secondary as they have signed Travarius Ward to a deal, a 3-year deal for $42 million, which I don't exactly agree with, but we'll see. I think he's a mediocre corner, and we could have used that money to go get someone like J.C. Jackson, who is now a Los Angeles Charger, or Stephon Gilmore, who is still currently on the free agent market and likely the top candidate or top free agent still out there. So the thing about this is the 49ers don't make big splashes, really. Besides last offseason getting Trent Williams and Alex Mack to help that offensive line, the 49ers don't really make big splashes in the market. So trading Garoppolo probably would be the biggest splash or biggest thing to happen for this franchise since Reuben Foster retired early, and he ended up ending his season early. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick, but he still played a little. I think besides Trey Lance coming to San Francisco as a 3rd overall pick last year, the 49ers could be in search of someone in the secondary. I don't believe that they will get Stephon Gilmore or Tyrann Mathieu. I could be completely wrong. They could have already had a strong offer on these guys, and they're just waiting until Garoppolo gets released so they can possibly ask just a tad bit more. And that's why Stephon Gilmore could still be on the market. As we already know, the Jets have offered Stephon Gilmore. The Panthers have already offered Stephon Gilmore to come back. The Seahawks have offered Stephon Gilmore. The Broncos have offered Stephon Gilmore. The Saints have offered Stephon Gilmore. The Bengals have offered Stephon Gilmore. The 49ers still have not offered Stephon Gilmore, but they could have, and we just don't know. He may just be waiting until he can get a situation where he can get into San Francisco with just a little more cash and maybe a longer deal. Who knows about the situation? Someone like Bobby Wagner or Zadarius Smith, I think, would be just a little too much, as we already have a good linebacker core in Charles Omenihu, who is more of a defensive end or more of a pass rusher than a linebacker. But we got Azeez Al-Shire, who I don't think is going to be coming back, as they have a second-round tender on him right now for any team that signs him. Fred Warner, likely one of the best linebackers, or is one of the best linebackers in the football league right now. And Dre Greenlaw, who I think is going to be a future star for this football team. And I have, for some reason, I think that there could be a problem going on in San Francisco where they don't want to bring back, or they don't want to bring back Garoppolo, but that may be the only decision because they want to get something out of him rather than just releasing him. And they possibly could be waiting until next offseason to actually address that secondary problem. But I don't know why the 49ers are kind of like this, but they don't make big splashes. So going out and getting someone like Stephon Gilmore, Tyrann Mathieu, Bobby Wagner, Zadarius Smith, trading for Danielle Hunter would probably be almost out of the question now because of the fact that the 49ers have relatively no cap space after signing Charvarius Ward. And with Garoppolo's situation going on, if he doesn't get traded, there's no way we're not getting another soul for this football team the rest of this offseason. And likely won't have a lot of things to do during the draft. And that could be another situation where the 49ers addressed secondary during the draft. They're just waiting till draft day to, trade Garoppolo. Who knows with the 49ers? Let's be real about it. The 49ers could totally wait for so long to trade Garoppolo. They could wait till the end of next season. They or not the end of next season, but they could wait till like the start of they could possibly wait till mid this year, because if not, Garoppolo's deal is done and he's hitting the free agent market with the 49ers not even probably putting an offer out for him since we have the quarterback of the future in Trey Lance. I think the 49ers are probably going to bring back Garoppolo for just one more season, since he did bring him to Super Bowl 54, and then a year later, after one crappy year with everyone getting injured, bringing them to the NFC Championship game, and then salting it away with an interception at the very end. I do believe that Garoppolo will be back. He could not be back, which would be a splash, but I think he's going to be back. I think they're going to wait just one more year. If they can possibly they probably will start Garoppolo, throwing Trey Lance here and there if they don't think Trey Lance is ready. But yeah, let's get off that topic for a second and wrap up this episode. If the Browns, let's talk about this. For the Browns situation, it seems as if Baker is likely, of the two quarterbacks between Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo, to be on the move first. If not, the Browns may release or keep Baker Mayfield until next season, when teams like the Colts, Giants, Buccaneers, and possibly the Packers will be in search for a quarterback. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think that the 49ers wait till next season to do something with Garoppolo? Do you think they wait till almost mid-season this upcoming season? Do you think they wait till the draft? Do you think they trade him, in 20 hours from now? Tell me what you think in the comments below as we sign off this episode of episode 4. Thank you guys for coming to the video. I know this is a longer episode, but you guys deserve it since I just uploaded a little too late today. You guys probably won't see this until tomorrow, wherever you stand or wherever you live. Thank you guys for coming to the video. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Keep supporting the channel. If you like the content, please ask a friend to check it out if they like football as well. Thank you guys for coming to the channel. And yes, I will see you all in episode 5. See ya.